Hello there, very good evening and welcome to the news tonight here on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tracy Shilchi, and in the next 30 minutes I'll be getting you the day's top stories from India and across the world, starting with the headlines. Union Cabinet approves changes to the GST Constitution Amendment Bill, drops the controversial 1% manufacturing tax, decides that dispute resolution will be decided by the GST Council. BSP and Congress slammed the assault of two women in Madhya Pradesh by cow vigilantes. Government assures swift action, urges political parties to refrain from politicizing the issue. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Harish Rawat confirms reports of incursion by Chinese troops into Indian territory, hopes the centre will take cognizance of the issue. Human rights activist Bezwada Wilson and South Indian classical musician T.M. Krishna are chosen for the Raymond Magsaysay Award for 2016. And a historic moment at the U.S. Democratic National Convention. Hillary Clinton officially becomes the first woman to lead a major party for the presidential race. The Union Cabinet today approved changes to the GST Constitution Amendment Bill. The Cabinet removed the controversial 1% manufacturing tax from the Constitutional Bill. It will also mention that dispute resolution will be decided by the GST Council. Moreover, the government has now included a 5-year compensation clause for state governments for any loss that they may incur. The select GST panel drafted the new bill with the above changes. Among other decisions, the Union Cabinet approved setting up of a new AIIMS in Bhatinda, amendment in the Central Agriculture University Act 1992, revised cost estimate for the National Automotive Testing and R&D Infrastructure Project, and abolition of separate guidelines to set up joint venture companies by defence PSUs. But of course, the big decision coming out of that is, of course, on the GST bill. And joining us, in fact, for more details on this, we've got our correspondent Vishal Daya joining us on the phone line. Vishal, definitely a big push here by the government, taking it a step further, perhaps to get past this session.
Well, yes, indeed, it is a step further as far as the GST bill is concerned. And clearly, the government has taken one more step towards its plan of realizing the passage of the GST amendment bill in the parliament. Now, clearly, this is one particular decision which is aimed at putting all concerned stakeholders on board as far as this decision is concerned, because yesterday there was a meeting of the state finance ministers, which was also attended by the Union Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, and it was decided in that particular meeting that this 1% additional tax which was proposed in the earlier resolution, that is something which should be taken back, and this is one of the demands of the Congress party as well, which also in addition is demanding that the cap on the overall GST rate should be included in the constitutional amendment bill. However, the several states believe that instead of putting it in the constitutional amendment bill, this can also be incorporated into the GST bill, which will later be brought in the parliament. But clearly, this is one particular decision which is going to make things easier for the government. However, now what remains to be done is to bring Congress on board and bring that consensus on this particular issue, which the government and the Prime Minister himself had said before the onset of the monsoon session that they would want to have that consensus and they would want to pass this particular bill in the Parliament with unanimity.
All right, we'll leave it there for now. Vishal, thanks so much for joining us with those details there. We'll watch out, of course, for the Congress's response to this. Definitely going to be measured and careful on the decision. Meanwhile, the opposition, the Congress definitely, and the BSP too, lashed out at the government in Rajya Sabha on Wednesday over the incident of a cow vigilante group beating up two women in BJP-ruled Madhya Pradesh. Raising the pitch against the government, BSP and Congress members trooped into the well. In reply, the government assured swift action and urged political parties to refrain from politicizing the matter. Here are more details.
No sooner were papers tabled in the House, BSP Chief Mayawati got up to criticize the BJP-led government for rising atrocities on Dalits and women. She alleged that just days after 4 Dalit men were beaten up in Gujarat, a cow protection group had assaulted 2 women in Madhya Pradesh over suspicion of possessing beef.
और खास तौर से मैं मिस्टर नकवी से पूछना चाहती हूँ, वहाँ पर आपके समाज की जो महिलाओं का उत्पीड़न किया गया है, आप खड़े होकर बताएं कि मध्य प्रदेश में गौ रक्षा के नाम पर जो मुस्लिम महिलाओं का साथ जो उत्पीड़न किया गया है, क्या वो बर्दाश्त करने लायक है?
Leader of opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad clarified that the opposition was not against protecting cows but ill-treating Dalits and minorities.
लेकिन गौ रक्षा होनी चाहिए, लेकिन गौ रक्षा के नाम पर बहाना करके दलित और मुसलमानों को टारगेट करने के खिलाफ है। ये हमारा कानून है, हम गौ रक्षा के खिलाफ नहीं है। Let it be very clear.
The BSP and Congress members marched into the well to register their protest against the government. Responding to the allegations, MOS for Parliamentary Affairs Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi condemned the incident and said the government was ready for a debate on the issue.
घटना का बहन मायावती जी ने डिस्कस किया, उस पर तत्काल मध्य प्रदेश की राज्य सरकार ने उस पर कार्रवाई की है और जो भी उसमें दोषी हैं उनके खिलाफ जो है वो मुकदमा किया है।
On Tuesday in Madhya Pradesh's Mandsaur, a mob thrashed 2 women for allegedly carrying beef. Bystanders filmed the incident that was shown on social media. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And staying with the upper house, Ministry of State for Home Affairs Kiran Rijiju today said that there is no proposal at present to hold talks with Assam-based violent insurgent groups. Rijiju, however, did clarify that the government's stand was that it was ready to cooperate with groups that are ready to shun violence. Here's a report.
Responding to a query during question hour on insurgent groups in the northeast, Minister of State for Home Kiran Rijiju said there was no scope for talks with National Democratic Front of Bulletin as it had killed several innocent people in December 2014. Rajya clarified there was no formal offer for talks with the Paresh Barua-led faction of the Ulfa, as its members were engaging in violent activities that were also anti-national.
There's no question of any talk with the NDFB, Songbijit group, because they have carried out mass killings of innocent people. And we have already stated our position very clear that government is not averse to talk to the militants, but the only condition is they must abjure violence.
Replying to another question, Rijiju stressed that the centre's fight against Maoist militants had started paying dividends as a substantial decline in ultra-left violence has been registered.
इसलिए सबसे बड़ा इसमें अगर योगदान है तो विकास का कार्य पिछली सरकार ने भी चलाया और उसको बल देते हुए हमारी जो सरकार आए इसने भी चलाया। इसके माध्यम से जो जितना भी जो माओवादी प्रभावित इलाका है उसमें कमी आया है।
In response to another question, Commerce Minister Nirmala Sitharaman stressed that foreign direct investment norms in the defence sector had been eased without compromising national security requirements.
So when we say whether it is automatic or through the government route, all processes for establishing the facts behind this investment and implications of security are duly done and the diligence is completed.
Questions were also raised on missing children in NCR and recall of batches of drug exports. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, Lok Sabha today approved an amendment to the Lokpal and Lokayukta's Bill 2016 without any discussion. The bill seeks to amend Section 44 of the existing Act. Under this, public servants are bound to furnish the details of their assets, debts and other liabilities within 30 days from the date that they make and subscribe an oath or affirmation to enter their office. While Congress and left parties agreed that there was an urgency to pass the bill, they urged that the government should be stringent in imposing the provisions of the bill. A public servant in the Act includes NGOs, civil servants and parliamentarians. July 31st is the last date for declaring assets for the assessment year of 2016-17.
सबका ये मत था कि थोड़ा सा और इसको समय दिया जाए और हमने जो कहा कि स्टैंडिंग कमेटी पहले इस पर विचार कर चुकी है, उन्हीं से ये निवेदन किया जाए कि जितना जल्द हो सके इस पर थोड़ी अपनी और राय ले। लेकिन कदापि ये संदेश ना जाए कि सरकार ने कोई ढील बरती है और यदि आगे से सुझाव आएंगे कि लोकपाल को और सख्त बनाया जाए तो हम और सख्त बनाने को भी तैयार हैं, क्योंकि हमारी प्रतिबद्धता, हमारी कमिटमेंट भ्रष्टाचार को लेकर के 100% है।
Now, in the wake of the ongoing tiff between India and China over the scribes' visa issue, reports are now emerging of another incursion by Chinese troops into Indian territory. Media reports claim that Chinese troops recently violated the border in Chamoli district of Uttarakhand, where they were seen camping along with arms. This despite the two nations having agreed to keep it a demilitarized area. The incident took place on the 19th of July when a team led by Chamoli district magistrate and others, including officials from the ITBP, went for a survey of the Barahoti ground. They were reportedly sent back by the troops of the Chinese People's Liberation Army, who claimed it to be their land. The 80 square kilometer ground had been agreed upon by the two countries to be a disputed part since 1957. An agreement was signed in 1958, according to which both sides agreed to not send troops into the area. Only shepherds from both sides were allowed to enter the ground. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Harish Rawat termed the development as something to worry about and flagged the issue with the centre. The ITBP too has been asked to look into the matter.
वो बॉर्डर लाइन जो है खींचा नहीं है, वहाँ पे मार्क नहीं है, तो उसको लेकर के थोड़ा सा आपस में बातचीत हुआ, फिर अपने अपने जगह चले गए।
चिंताजनक है और हमारा बॉर्डर अपेक्षाकृत शांत रहा है। हम प्रारंभ से ही कहते रहे कि यहाँ विजिलेंस आप बढ़ाइए करके। मैं समझता हूँ भारत सरकार जो आवश्यक कॉग्निजेंस लेनी है वो लेंगे और सूचना बिल्कुल सही है।
There should be no doubt in anybody's mind. Basically, China is not a friend. You know, they have been propping up Pakistan just to hurt us. You look at the stand they took in NSC. So let there be no misconception about China being a friend. China has sorted out its boundary problems with every other country except India. Now that should tell us a story.
रक्षा मंत्री को बयान देना चाहिए संसद में, अगर चीन ने हमारी सीमा का अतिक्रमण किया है और भूमि पर कब्जा किया है, तो ये बहुत ही चिंता का विषय है।
Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar on Wednesday said that the floating object that was found in the Bay of Bengal could not be confirmed if it belonged to the missing aircraft AN-32. Parrikar further added that no compromise would be made in the rescue operations of the aircraft that went missing with 29 people on board. An intensive search for the missing air transport plane entered the sixth day today. The AN-32 disappeared on the 22nd of July, soon after taking off from Chennai's Tambaram Air Base for Port Blair.
There is no confirmed report of anything, but there are some objects located. The ships have been asked to verify them, and unless something is positively located, it cannot be confirmed. As of now, it is only indicator, and we are not leaving anything to chances. So we have asked ships to check up.
And not leaving anything to chances, curfew was today reimposed in parts of Kashmir, including 5 police station areas of Srinagar, to thwart a separatist march to Kulgam district. The march was called upon by separatist groups to pay tribute to those killed in clashes with security forces. Normal life remained paralyzed for the 19th day in a row. Schools, colleges and business establishments remained closed while public transport remained off roads. Attendance in government offices too was very thin. Mobile services, though, were partially restored in some parts of the valley after remaining suspended for 11 days. Violent clashes in Kashmir have claimed as many as 47 lives so far and left over 5,500 injured. On to other news now, and two Indians, human rights activist Bezwada Wilson and South Indian classical musician T.M. Krishna, were today chosen for the prestigious Raymond Magsaysay Award for 2016. Karnataka-born Bezwada Wilson was lauded for his efforts towards asserting the inalienable right to a life of human dignity. The Chennai-born Carnatic musician T.M. Krishna was awarded for ensuring social inclusiveness in culture. Apart from the two Indians, 4 others were also selected for the award from the Philippines, Indonesia, Japan and Laos. The Raymond Magsaysay Award is an annual award named after former Philippines President Raymond Magsaysay. It is intended to honor greatness of spirit and selfless service to the people of Asia. Now, the Supreme Court today deferred till the 23rd of August, hearing on Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi's appeal that seeks to quash a complaint against him for allegedly defaming the RSS. The court also ruled that the police had no role in investigating a private criminal defamation complaint. The development comes a week after the top court pulled up Rahul Gandhi for painting everyone associated with the RSS with the same brush. He was also asked to apologize for his comments against the RSS or face a trial. With that, let's give you some more updates from across the country in Nationwide. India will not issue visa to members of the Jamaat-ud-Dawa if they want to visit Jammu and Kashmir to treat people injured in recent clashes with security forces. 30 members of the organization, comprising doctors and paramedical staff, have applied to 4 Indian visas to visit Kashmir to treat the injured there. Jamaat-ud-Dawa is headed by Hafiz Saeed, who is believed to be responsible for the recent Pathankot attacks and the 2008 Mumbai attacks. A special court convicted private firm Rathi Steel and Power Limited and its 3 senior officials in the Kesla North Coal Block case. The court held that they made false claims before the Coal Ministry regarding the issue of land to procure allotment of the Chhattisgarh coal block in its favour. The accused were out on bail and were taken into custody after the verdict. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal attacked Lieutenant Governor Najib Jung yet again, accusing him now of supporting the BJP to cripple the state as the auto taxi strike entered the second day today. Transport Minister Satyendra Jain questioned the inaction of Delhi police against the alleged BJP protesters who were seen at various places trying to forcibly enforce the strike. The current wave of flood has claimed 12 more lives and affected over 16 lakh people across Assam. State Chief Minister Shabanand Sonowal made a statement on the flood situation before the State Assembly today. He declared a compensation of 4 lakh rupees to the families of each of the deceased. With a quick break here, but up next, we're getting international news. Stay with us.
The art of painting comes to us from the prehistoric period. Paintings are also a valuable source of information about their age. Like this depiction of the wedding procession of Dara Shikoh. The eldest son of Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan had a Mughal wedding with distinctive Indian elements. Like the veil he wears to the pomp and show of the Bharat in Hindu weddings.
Welcome back to the news tonight. Let's get you international news, and starting with the news that's coming in from the US that Hillary Clinton has made history by clinching the Democratic White House nomination, becoming the first woman to lead a major party in the US presidential race. Speaking via video link from New York after a nomination, Clinton told the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia that she was honored to have been chosen as the party's nominee. She will now face Republican nominee Donald Trump in the November 8th presidential elections.
What an incredible honor that you have given me. And I can't believe we just put the biggest crack in that glass ceiling yet.
A historic moment at the Democratic National Convention, where Hillary Clinton became the first woman to lead a major party in the US presidential race. The second day of convention in Philadelphia saw Clinton clinching the Democratic presidential nomination after securing a majority of the 4,764 party delegates.
This is really your night. And if there are any little girls out there who stayed up late to watch, let me just say, I may become the first woman president, but one of you is next. Thank you all. I can't wait to join you in Philadelphia. Thank you.
Clinton's husband and former US President Bill Clinton told the convention that Hillary was the best change maker he has ever known. He also gave a spirited defense of his wife's tenure as Secretary of State, saying that she was instrumental in protecting American interests, combating terrorism, and advancing human rights.
For this time, Hillary is uniquely qualified to seize the opportunities and reduce the risk we face. And she is still the best darn change maker I have ever known. You could drop her. You could drop her into any trouble spot. Pick one. Come back in a month, and somehow, some way, she will have made it better. That is just who she is.
Clinton also got support from a group of mothers whose children were killed by gun violence or police officers.
Clinton isn't afraid to say that Black lives matter. She isn't afraid to sit at a table with grieving mothers and bear the full force of our anguish. She doesn't build walls around her heart. Not only did she listen to our problems, she invited us to become a part of the solution.
Clinton's nomination comes at a time of lingering discord within the party. Despite Clinton finishing the Democratic primary with 2,807 delegates, compared with Sanders' 1,894, a faction of the Vermont senator's supporters threatened a floor fight over the nomination. They were further emboldened by leaked emails showing personal bias towards Clinton among officials at the Democratic National Committee. Clinton will now face Republican candidate Donald Trump in the national election on November 8th. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now let's take you through more international news updates in Global Buzz. Around 44 people were killed in a twin bomb blast near the Kurdish-controlled city of Qamishli in northeast Syria. The blast was caused by a truck bomb that struck near a Kurdish security headquarters. Islamic State has claimed responsibility for the blast. The United Nations warned South Sudan's President Salva Kiir over its recent decision to replace the first vice president. It said that any political appointments must be consistent with provisions outlined in a peace deal. The vice president left Juba earlier this month after violence in the city between forces loyal to him and the president battled each other for several days with tanks, helicopters and other heavy weapons. Japan police conducted searches at the house of the suspect who is accused of stabbing and killing 19 patients at a home for the disabled on the 26th of July. He was taken to Yokohama District Public Prosecutor's Office in Kanagawa. Police are looking for further clues to understand the motive behind the attack. Israeli troops killed a Hamas fighter in an overnight raid who was responsible for an attack that killed a person in a moving vehicle in the West Bank on the 1st of July. Israeli forces also arrested 3 other militants. All were the members of the Al-Qassam brigades of the Islamist group. Now to sports news, and wrestler Narsingh Yadav's hopes of competing in the Olympics seemed bleak today after he failed a second dope test. Narsingh Yadav, who is already under provisional suspension for failing a June 25th dope test, flunked the second test done as well as on both his A and B samples that were taken on the 5th of July. Narsingh has claimed that he was framed by rivals who allegedly spiked his food supplements and meals. The Maharashtra wrestler was in fact picked over 2-time Olympic medalist Sushil Kumar after he won the quota place with a bronze medal in last year's World Championships. Now, following this doping storm, Praveen Rana was named as Narsingh's replacement in the 74-kilogram category, a move that has been approved by the United World Wrestling.
सामने 25 तारीख को एक ऐसी स्थिति थी कि अगर हम रिप्लेस नहीं करते तो हमारे देश का कोटा समाप्त हो जाता। ठीक है, अब अगर देश का कोटा समाप्त हो जाता और आज जो है मान लीजिए नरसिंह यादव इस प्रकरण से निकल जाते तो कल नरसिंह यादव के लिए हम कैसे लड़ाई लड़ते, क्योंकि देश का कोटा ही समाप्त हो जाता। तो मैंने जो हमारे पास अच्छा खिलाड़ी मौजूद था, प्रवीण राणा अच्छा खिलाड़ी है, हमारे कैंप में था, ट्रेनिंग की है, हर जगह उसने ट्रेनिंग की है, हमने उसका रिप्लेस कर दिया और उसको स्वीकार भी कर लिया गया।
जी प्रेशर बस यही है, मैं दुख व्यक्त करता हूँ नरसिंह भाई के लिए, उनके साथ जो हुआ गलत हुआ है, लेकिन जैसा मुझे अभी आदेश मिला फेडरेशन से कि अभी मुझे खेलना है तो अब जिम्मेवारी है, तो अच्छे से ट्रेनिंग करनी है। अभी 2 हफ्ते बचे हैं क्योंकि हमारे पास।
And now more updates from the world of sports in Sports Beat. Indian spinner Ravichandran Ashwin reclaimed the top spot in the latest ICC Test rankings. Ashwin got past Pakistan's Yasir Shah after a match-winning 7-wicket haul in the second innings of the first test against West Indies. India's test captain Virat Kohli, who made his maiden double century in the same test, moved to 12th in the batting rankings. Swiss world number 3 Roger Federer pulled out of the Rio Olympics and will miss the rest of the season, including the US Open, due to a knee injury. Federer said that he was disappointed to miss out on the Olympics, but stressed that he needed more extensive rehabilitation to prolong his career. Federer had won the silver medal in the London Olympics in 2012. Meanwhile, Russia's fencing, volleyball and triathlon teams have been cleared to compete at the Rio Games. 108 Russians have been banned from competing in the Games, including 67 out of 68 from the athletics team. The International Olympic Committee has said that individual federations should decide if Russians can compete in their respective sports following WADA's report. Juventus have signed Argentina striker Gonzalo Higuain from Napoli for £75.3 million in the biggest domestic deal of all time and third most expensive in the history. The 28-year-old Higuain had won the Serie A's Golden Boot last season after scoring a league's record equaling 36 goals. And finally, the foundation stone for a national memorial for APJ Abdul Kalam was laid in Rameshwaram today to mark the first death anniversary of the former president. Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid tribute to the former president, saying that his death had created an irreplaceable void. We're leaving you with these images now.